Using named ranges in calculations. All right, so we've created our named ranges. It's time to put them to work in some formulas. Let's see how much easier life gets when you're using named ranges. Building an average formula. The first formula that we need to construct is an average formula. What we want to do here is find out the average quantity. So let's start out by typing in average. I'm going to press my Tab key to select it from that list. And here's where the magic happens. We need to provide the values that we want to find the average of. At this stage, normally, I would go in and select the cell range in this worksheet. But because we've set this range up as a named range, I can simply use the name. And this range is called quantity. To pull that up or input it into the formula, if I start typing the word quantity, notice that IntelliSense also picks up any named ranges that you have in your worksheet. So it's not just formulas that you're going to see in that menu underneath. You're also going to see any named ranges that you've created. Pretty clever, right? Once it's found the named range and it's highlighted, I can simply press the Tab key. Notice that the word quantity is in blue and the range is highlighted in blue in the table. All that's left for me to do here is close off my bracket, hit enter, and there I get the answer. That is a really nice, easy way of incorporating those named ranges into your formulas. And if you look at this formula, it's very simple to see exactly what this formula is doing. No cryptic cell references to decode. Creating a count formula. Let's do this one more time. This time, we want to do a count of the number of orders. So we're going to type in count, press the Tab key, and this time I want to use the range that I called orders. Again, we can start to type it in, it finds it in the list, Tab key, close the bracket, hit enter, and we are done. When you can't remember your named ranges, so far in those two examples, that has very much relied on me remembering what I've called my named range. And it might be that if you're working in a spreadsheet that maybe you last looked at 6 months ago, you can't necessarily remember all of the names of the ranges in your spreadsheet. Hey, we've all been there. Sometimes I forget what I had for breakfast, let alone what I named a range months ago. So let's do this next one, and I'm going to show you a little workaround for that. We need to find out what the minimum sales are. So we're going to use min, press that Tab key, and if I can't remember that it's the total range that I want, if I press the F3 key on my keyboard, that's going to pop open a little window that lists out all of the named ranges that I have in this workbook, so I can take a look through the different names. Yes, that's the one I want, total. Select it, and it's going to input it into my formula. Close off the bracket, hit enter, and I can do exactly the same for max. Once again, I can press F3, select total, click on OK, close the bracket, and hit enter. Finishing up with sum. The final one here is just a sum calculation. So we can type in sum, and this time I'm just going to start to type total, select it from that list, close the bracket, and hit enter. A word of warning about deleting named ranges. Another important point to note here, if you have used named ranges in your formulas and then that named range gets deleted, that's going to mess up your formula. Let me show you what I mean. If we jump up to the Formulas tab, and remember, to delete named ranges, we need to jump into the Name Manager. So if I decide that I want to delete this totals range, let's click on Delete and OK. Notice what happens to my formulas. I get this name error. And if you remember in a previous lesson, when we were looking at errors that you can come across in Excel, one of them was this name error. I mentioned that a name error either means you have a problem with the name of the formula, maybe you've misspelled it, or you have a problem with the name of a named range. In this case, the formula name is correct, but the named range no longer exists. It's like trying to call a friend who changed their phone number without telling you. So fixing the error. So what I would need to do to fix this is either go in and replace these with cell references, so select the cell reference, close the bracket, and hit enter, or I could create the named range again. So let's select this, use create from selection, I'm going to call it total, and that has fixed those two formulas. So just be aware of that. Deleting named ranges can affect any formulas where you're using the named range. Always double check before you hit that delete button.